Welcome back to our channel, my dear family and friends, brothers and sisters. Tonight, I want to, I'm having trouble redoing the title. I want to broach the subject of the Iraqi dinars and the why this is coming together in this way, and what it really means in terms of the big picture of the unfolding awakening of the reality of the reset. All these things are coming to a a crescendo, a moment, everything is about to turn around in a very big way. Does this mean it's happening next week? No. Does it mean that you're going to get your funds from the redemption funds and all this? I don't know. I don't think so. But I want to discuss why, how this all makes sense. The Iraqi dinar. I'm assuming that most of us, or a lot of this community, has invested in Iraqi dinars. I don't have a ton of them, but I do have a few Iraqi dinars, and I still I'm skeptical but optimistic that we're coming to an understanding that things are changing. This is why the Iraqi dinar, why not, and the Vietnamese dong, why the two places where we had wars. Zimbabwe is the third one. I know there are other currencies. This is in alignment with what I was talking about last night, that the 13 bloodline families, and again, this is not verified information. This is a hypothetical that we've been investigating for many years. But it's the Vietnamese dong, right? And the Zim bonds, and but these are the main bonds that people have been holding for a couple of years. Why Iraq? Why Iraq? So yesterday we were discussing the idea that who's running the Vatican, the City of London, Washington, D.C., the world. Who's running the world? And we said yesterday, most people think it's the Rockefellers and the Rothschild, is it Rothschild? Yeah, the Rothschilds. These and so we looked at some clips, and again, this is all hypothetical. I'm not somebody who's saying the world according to Ellie. I am entertaining the idea because we have been lied to about everything. So I'm trying to piece together an idea of our history, where this is going, and I think this is becoming more and more of my role in this information analysis that I do every night or 6 days a week. Iraq, Vietnam. Now, previously, how many years ago? 50 years ago, more than 50 years ago. Let's say I think I was 18 or 19 when I got a draft card. Probably 18, and at I think by the time I was 19, they decided to call off the war. But I had a very high number. I would have been called to go to Vietnam. So I'm very highly aware of the whole situation. The Vietnam War, the Iraqi War. What were these about? Were these struggles for freedom for the people? Was it a struggle against communism in Vietnam? We've been led to believe that. Good night, everyone. Love from Trini. Oh, that's my Trini friend, Usha Muhammad. Good night, Trini. So, okay, I'm trying to like sort of like figure out a way to say this. The head of the snake, what we learned last night, one of the posts, I think I couldn't even find the post, but it's the 13 bloodline families, the Orsinis, the Breakspears, the 13 families that control the Vatican, control the Jesuits, control the Khazarians, control corruption on the planet. And the planet is rifled, is interwoven with corruption on such a grand scale that they lied to us and stole from us so outrageously, and this is part of their doctrine, that it's unbelievable, that nobody can believe it. Nobody believes that the government is totally corrupt. You're seeing it now with the uncovering of all these NGOs that have been laundering our money. Wars were massive money laundering operations. They were drug smuggling operations. They were child trafficking operations, as was everything. Our world was run, or has been run, or is running by a criminal organization. A massive criminal organization where all its components are kept separate, so they never really get together to really understand how criminal they are. It's just, okay, I'm taking a little money from the the guy in Congress is taking money from big pharma. That's just what they do. It's not, they don't think of it as I mean, they probably do, but this, coupled to the pedophilia, to the child trafficking, to the massive money laundering, so much so that a congressman gets in office, they have a couple of $100,000, or maybe they did really well in business, they have $1 million, and they come out a few years later, many years later, with millions of dollars. Obama, after he was like a regular dude. After after his office, he bought a $14 million mansion in Martha's Vineyard. That was just chump change to him, because these are massive criminals. Child trafficking, 8 million kids go missing a year. These are not like your local mafiosos that shake down the pharmacist for protection money. These are massive criminals who have stolen our lives, our money, our health, our food, they've poisoned us in every way. This is a massive, babe, could I have a little bit more? Just maybe half a cup. Thanks. Massive criminal organization, so massive that most people cannot they cannot grasp the concept. But why Iraq? Why Iran? So if I'm just putting a couple of pieces of the puzzle together, and I could be wrong, I could be right. The 13 bloodline families, according to information we received yesterday. And again, this is not verified by fact checkers who are the worst liars of all. But this post was saying that the 13 bloodline families are hybrid Babylonian magic, child trafficking, sex magic, barbarians of the worst kind. And that, like as an Orthodox Yid, I was taught that the world is 6,000 years old, and 4,000 years ago we were, or whatever it was, we were captured by the Babylonians, and they changed our Talmud. They changed from the Jerusalem Talmud to the Babylonian Talmud. And I don't agree with people that say this is a totally satanic treatise. However, in my version of reality, the Jesuits, the Creepazoids, the Illuminati, the 13 bloodline families, the reptilian Dracos took over the world through the Zoroastrians. This is what we learned yesterday. through this Iranian criminal gangster gang that took over the world. Now, you might think to yourself, okay, Iran is down and Ukraine is down, and these are just, other. No, this is a criminal organization that has infiltrated every country. And the Yidden are always pointing to the Holocaust and the Nazis, and all these groups come from this Babylonian black magic gangster criminal organization. So it's not I'm not pointing my fingers at the Iranian people. I'm pointing my fingers at the deep state gangsters that run the world. So where is there? They've been defeated in many different arenas because the White Hats. This is a global operation against this transnational criminal organization. They don't care what country they're from. They don't. They don't owe their allegiance to anyone except power and money and sex and the exploitation of children and women. This is a criminal organization of, but anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that why is the Iraqi dinar, of all things, why is this the possible keystone to the correction of our financial our debt slavery? Why would this all be pointing to Iran and Iraq? There's so many levels, there's so many layers to this story, and we're just now uncovering just another layer of the onion that leads to the freedom of humanity, the Great Awakening. So I mean, just wrap your mind around it. When I heard they were going into Iraq because of weapons of mass destruction, I was like, yeah, at the time I was Orthodox Yid living in Brooklyn in a community, and I was like, yeah, go get them. Go get Hussein. Go get this guy. They're bombing the Yidden, and this is the story that we've been fed, but it's a total lie. It wasn't the Iranians against the Jews. It was the deep state pretending that there was a conflict, manufacturing a conflict just like they did in Iraq, just like they did in Vietnam, just like they did in Korea, just like they did in World War II, World War I, Civil War, and the Napoleonic Wars. It's always the same thing. They start wars. Wars mean nothing to them. They are satanic rituals. Kill a bunch of handsome young men, steal all the children, funnel them underground for sex slavery and adrenochrome production, and steal all the money while you're at it. They had it down to a science. The NGOs were stealing trillions of you. You and I go to work I went to work for 20 years for these criminals called the Department of Education, another set of sub criminals of this criminal organization. And I worked really hard, and I put up with a lot of bullshit. And to think that all those taxes that I paid got funneled into sex trafficking, adrenochrome production, non-cures in the medical field, an entire insane, bizarro world where everything is upside down. Your doctors try to make you sick. The grocer wants to poison you. The banker wants to make you poor. The educator wants to make you stupid and indoctrinate you. It's an upside down world because it's run by a criminal organization called the deep state, called the parasites, called the Illuminati, called the Jesuits, called the Vatican, all these names for it, the City of London, Washington, D.C., Congress, all of Congress, they're all corrupt. Are they all still running around alive? That we don't know. Have they all been arrested? I don't know. I don't know. But why Iraq? Why Iran? Because according to what we learned yesterday, the evilness, this bloodline, this black nobility comes from, and I don't want to taint another religion, but and I don't know anything about Zoroastrian roots. Let's stay clear of that. Let's just say Babylonian black magic, child sacrifice, Bohemian Grove, Hollywood, under the White House, where Trump is now building this ballroom, there were tunnels, child trafficking tunnels. There are tunnels all over the place. There are tunnels in. I was watching a clip from Joe Rogan. There are tunnels under the Grand Canyon that they won't let us go into. They won't let us go into Antarctica beyond the ice wall. There's a lot of places we can't even go because they have turned history upside down. Yesterday, I hypothesized that our modern history is like 250 years old. That they said it was thousands of years in the medieval period and the Roman period and BC, and all these events, all this stuff was made up by an organization of criminals run by the Dracos, run by who knows who, that are able to control a population of people who happen to be holy, inherently holy. The humanity, as far as I'm concerned, the human species we're holy. We're connected to the divine consciousness. We don't need to go to church. We don't need to go to synagogue. We don't need to pray a certain way. We don't need to face Mecca or Jerusalem or any of these things. All we need is just say, hey, man, God, let's talk. Can we talk? Or not. You may be even beyond that. You may be at a stage where you're just like, I don't need to talk to God. I'm connected to God. There's no separation in my life. There's no other. I am inside of me, or part of me, or me really essentially is a not a piece, a holographic piece of the whole. Hologram means that every piece has everything in it. I feel led you to buy some layer XLM on Ethereum LE. Well, that's nice. I feel led to tell you I bought some layer X. I don't know what LX is. Do we know what LX is? Have we bought any LX?
LCX.
What?
LCX.
LCX maybe? God's going to utilize that one. LCX, we bought some. But anyway, hey, Abe. Yes, you're a Mountain Time. Cool. Okay, so why Iran? Why is the dinar so important? Because the corruption in Iran, they're saying they're chasing these bad boy politicians. Okay, so let me just show you some pictures. Okay, let's just do this together. We'll do our research together. Okay, here we go. All right. Unbelievable amounts of corruption since 2003 has finally come to an end. Experts predict 900 billion has been stolen from the Iraqi people, right? By this criminal organization. This is a post I'm going to come back to, but let's go here. Keep laughing. That's what the crowd always does. While you're in the comments, we're in the book studying security features, history, paper, UV, watermarks, and macro trends. Most people don't even know what they own. They buy first, learn later. We learned first. So they're talking about the dong, that the dong could be revalued. Public, oh, this is a fascinating story. Public and private Twitter accounts. Anons no. See, up until Hillary's server on the off the books non-encrypted comms network got exposed in 2015, these government gangsters were passing highly classified info around in Gmail drafts. And after that, they started when they somehow that was taken away from them, they started doing their comms on Twitter. And that's when Elon came in and broke them up. This is just a small portion of the cash and gold reportedly found in the home of a single Iraqi member of parliament. Imagine what would be found if the homes of senior Islamic Republic officials were searched the same way. The regime has looted Iran for decades. Okay, this is not a highly religious bunch of people. These are gangsters pretending, just like in the Vatican. You have, I'm sure there are holy dudes in the Vatican, like Vigano, but a lot of the Vatican is hardcore criminals. Go look at Godfather 3. Q recommends Godfather 3. The regime has looted hundreds. Okay, so I don't need to go into the details of this, but this is huge. Emergency update. The Iraqi prime minister held a cabinet meeting and delivered a message to his ministers stating that this is only the first wave of arrest. He called on anyone holding Iraqi public funds to return them to the Iraqi government. So this is a huge transitional state. They are arresting all the bad boys and girls in the Iraqi parliament. This is huge. The world's broken money system is not like changing software. It's more like changing the operating system of civilization while the airplane is still flying. Okay, a debt-based fiat system depends on confidence, credit expansion, centralized liquidity, sovereign bonds. The Cambrian explosion triggered by July 2026 clarity declared by global commander-in-chief Donald J. Trump, unlocking quantum abundance. All right, so we hope it's going to happen soon. The moon is an artificial construct, not a natural satellite. The moon is the biggest anomaly in our solar system. It is the only satellite that doesn't rotate. It always shows us the same side. Hiding what's on the dark side is exactly the right side and distance. Okay, so this is another rabbit hole you may want to go through. I sent this out this morning. I got 1 point. Okay, this was us canning all our zucchinis and squash for the winter. We were putting them in cans. Daniela does not like the Teflon top, so we use parchment paper, and then we put on the Teflon lid from these things. But okay, so it's secret space program, the moon. So when you say XRP is going to the moon, that's not a correct statement. Now, this is in line. We're now, as a community, it seems to me we are formulating a new model of what's really going on. Yeah, join the Republic, republicforusa.org. Definitely join the Republic. That's the next stage in our evolution of consciousness.
Didn't Peggy join?
Huh?
Didn't Peggy join? Peggy joined.
Yeah, Peggy joined, right. Okay, gangsters, yes. Big time gangsters, child trafficking, torturing, creating wars to finance their riches. I mean, I feel bad to tell you that you bought some no, it's fine. I on Ethereum. Yeah, I'm not a big Ethereum fan, but the very low market cap. I have LX. I don't know what LX. I had, yeah, LCX. Yeah, we have a little bit of that too. Makes sense because they say that's our goal, all united with God, right? And give us your cash. I would like some Uganda shilling, that's for sure. Um, Squash with tomatoes and potatoes. Yeah, yeah. We have an overflow of squash, so we canned 12 jars full of squash and put them in our freezer for the winter. But the Iraq is this place where this evil began, Iraq and Iran. So this is the end of the deep state, and they don't want to give it up because they know they're going to be forced off planet. What's going on in the dumbs? I don't know, but it seems to me, and here I want to show this little clip here because this is part of what I'm saying about yesterday about that maybe our civilization, so-called civilization, or the destruction of the civilization happened not so long ago. Okay, so let's watch this clip together. This is really I find this very interesting, and it's not news really. It's just okay. So let's.
If there was a reset, wouldn't everyone have known? But what if the people who did know were labeled insane? In the 1800s, all across America and Canada, massive insane asylums started appearing. Huge buildings, massive stone structures, some of the biggest buildings in the entire country at the time. But here's the strange part. Many of these cities were just being founded. So where did all of these insane people come from? And how did they know there would be so many of them that they built entire castle-like complexes to hold them? Look at the Central Lunatic Asylum in Ohio. It looks more like a fortress than a hospital. Look at the Columbia State Hospital. At one point, it was the largest building in the United States. And then there's St. Vincent Hospital in St. Louis. They say it was built in 1 year. 1 year in the 1800s. With that architecture. So you have to ask yourself, were these buildings really made to treat the insane? Or were they made to silence people who remembered a world that no longer existed?
I think that's an incredibly powerful little video, and I think it's in line with everything we were saying. That this reset, that the last reset may have started in 1776, 250 years ago. They took down Europe with the Napoleonic Wars. And then they took down the United States with the Civil War. They put us into debt slavery. They took over with the Organic Act of 1871. Then they changed the banking system in 1913. This is all run by an elite gang of mystic, dark, dark magic gangsters. Child trafficking, cloning, orphan trains, the whole thing. It points to the end, the end of a beautiful civilization, quite possibly the end of freedom of thought. Why would they shut down the Grand Canyon if there was some very interesting information there? There were cities. Apparently, this guy Kincaid found cities under the Grand Canyon. Why wouldn't this be public information? What are they hiding with such desperation? Well, I think they're hiding the fact that our history is a complete fiction, that our religions are made to support this fiction, that science has been taken over by these creepazoids as well, that medical science is a farce. Worse than that, it kills. It's designed to kill people, and the banksters are stealing whatever's left of your money. They'll be glad to take away with you. We are coming into a new age, and the XRP, the XLM, these stable coins, I guess that's what they call them. I'm not comfortable with that phrase, stable coin, but they are more stable and more predictable and more traceable than fiat currency, which is just we need some money, let's just print some. we're coming into a world where things will make sense, where things have to make sense. There will be none of this like hiding behind the CIA, the FBI, the mainstream media. These people have all been exposed. Their election fraud, the fiat fraud, the poisoning of our food supply, and all this other stuff. Where does it all lead at the end of the day? Well, it's led me personally to not want to have anything to do, or as little I can have to do with mainstream civilization as possible. They tried to kill us with vaccines and all this other stuff. They continue to try to kill us with vaccines. And to grow my own food. I'm living in and it's a I mean, I'm not saying everyone should go up and buy a little farm somewhere, but it sure seems like a good idea until things come around. Deep state CYA, yeah, right, exactly. We will build beauty. We will build beauty. That's beautiful. Meantime, the one's insane, right? They called us conspiracy theorists. There's something wrong with us. We don't want to get vaccinated. If you did get vaccinated, let me just go to this quickly, but if you did get vaccinated until what's today? Today is the 28th. Okay, so you could probably still order this Y-age pack from a LifeWave, Eon, glutathione, carnosine, and if you order, I think before midnight tonight, you'll get Silent Nights thrown for free. This is about $150 for 4 sleeves of a month's supply. This is a great, if you understand what this is, it's really worth it. So I highly recommend you get a hold of Dr. Stacy or sign up. I don't know if you really have time now, but the idea you will always be able to call Dr. Stacy and make an order. If you got the vaccine, the thing we've said over and over again is X39, the patch X39, glutathione, and Eon for inflammation. Those 3 patches will help reset your DNA, reduce inflammation, and cleanse your body. These are detox glutathione. The glutathione patch, which I'm wearing right here, stimulates your body to produce its own glutathione. So you can't eat glutathione. It's not meant to go through the digestive system. But this patch will stimulate glutathione production in your own body. You're not getting it from an outside source, where it has no half-life. This will stay in your body. The X39 stimulates stem cell production, and those stem cells will go and do what the body does best, which is heal itself. But in the meantime, don't eat poison. Stay away from glycosates, right, from regular bread and cakes and this kind of stuff. I mean, why would you seed oils? Don't eat anything with the seed oil in it. Please, make yourself a vessel for godliness. Get the X2O machine. This is an incredible investment. Takes out microplastics. It infuses 6 wavelengths of light into your water. Tremendous resource to have to stay healthy, but you have to work on it. You can't just wait. Well, I think when I get my check, when the dinar revalues and I have lots of money, I'll start living healthy. That's not the way to do this. You have to be actively pursuing your own health, your own wealth, your own relationships, your own joy. And that's the key to all this. But yeah, so we went through this, but I think that it could be that a lot of people have said that the dinar is going to be kind of like the first flash that revaluation is near. Is it going to happen on July 4th? I don't know. It could, but they're just arresting people now. This harkens back. It makes me think of of Saudi Arabia, how and the sword dance, and how they're taking this last bastion of criminal um, egosity. I mean, these criminals, these vril society people, these demonic worshipers who worship demons in order to bring power and money. I think their end is near. You're solid. Love you, buddy. Thanks, Abe. I appreciate it, man. Anyway, so that's it, man. I mean, just keep doing, get some patches, stay healthy. Abe, let me know. Maybe we can go online. You just send me an email. But squash with tomatoes, yeah. Where we go one, we go all the eggs of an onion, eggs and onion. Nice. Hello, hey, Anton. Yeah, we got to go fishing, man. I found this. We found this little swimming hole near us, and they're actually fish in it. And for the first time in many, many years, maybe because I'm not religious anymore, I'm thinking like, kind of fun to go fishing. I don't know, but I'm thinking more at this point, more like I was in a Goodwill store the other day and I thought to myself, if I could find an old bamboo fly rod, wouldn't that be fun? An old bamboo, a really good bamboo fly rod from the old days. It could happen. But anyway, life is grand. Life is good. Everything is, it's coming to a crescendo. I think tomorrow is going to be a momentous day. But just remember to focus on yourself, to focus on the miracle that is you, and let these things don't get crazy. We are so busy out here trying to build. We're building. I just put on a bunch of rafters on my roof. James has been working all day on the chicken coop, and Danielle has been keeping everything clean and keeping us on time and keeping us focused. We're like, well, let's go for a walk, and she's like, no, you guys got to do some work around here first. So she's like our timekeeper. She keeps us like slightly sane. But yeah, anyway, yeah, hopefully you guys will come up and visit someday. James and I thought, I mean, we are faced with very severe winds up here. We're at the top of the mountain. We're 4,500 feet in the Mojave Desert, in the mountains, in the Aquarius Mountains, and we are at the top of a north slope. So James and I were today, and in the past couple of weeks, have been talking about using the north slope to plant all our trees, to carve in some little small cabins for people to come and visit. We're talking about maybe using composting toilets, but we have the water source now, and also doing some greenhouses that are carved into the hillside, so they don't have to deal with the wind and are temperature controlled by the ground around them. Utilization and efficient and effective utilities. Yeah. So sure, JD. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, all of you just keep going. Just don't stop. We Danielle was like, you got to put up one more rafter today. I was like, okay. So we put up one more rafter in this very, very horrific wind. We got up on the second floor, and she and I put up a header and some rafters. But it's just such a joy to be out here. James happens to be a master gardener, and his garden is awesome. But we're facing real serious wind problems. He's finishing the second real chicken house for our Aurora, and she'll probably have some buddies soon. We have like 5 chickens altogether, and we're getting like chicken a day, egg a day. It's just so exciting to be here developing something in real time in the real world. It's not all online. It's not all ideas. It's like we're building a house. We're making our chickens a home for our chickens. We're going to put up some fences so we can hopefully get some goats to behave and produce milk. But it's just such a joy to have this opportunity. But it's moving in the right direction. I mean, we just came here with nothing and no idea and no knowledge whatsoever about serious farming and growing, and we didn't know what we were up against. And here we are now. It gets better and better by the day. So let's see if we can do a tune.
Living in the city, I was paying down my bills. One flat tire and the whole thing went to hell. Credit cards for groceries, I'm deep in debt again. It's time to split this scene, walk with you, my friend. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, we're heading for the promised land. Stopped paying taxes, your insurance I don't need. The medicines are killing us, hospitals grow like weeds. Moving to paradise, I don't need no gassy cars. Fake news, endless wars, a satanic legal bar. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. My friends all tell me I lost control. Left my wife and job just to run down rabbit holes. But I can tell you one thing about my fall. Where we go one, we go all. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. Leaving the matrix, we're heading for the promised land.
guys, thank you anyway for coming. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, this week could be a big week. It's right before July 4th. So the Clarity Act, I don't know. Right now, what I'm seeing is that the bad guys are going down. They're getting arrested. These people have trillions of dollars in their fucking closets. I mean, who does that? Barack Obama, these people are insane, and they've been doing this to us, and then we're just like, okay, that's just the way it is. I mean, no, it's not the way it is. These are criminals, and we're all coming to understand it. And we're coming to the Great Awakening. We're coming into the reval, and things will make sense. It was like, hey, man, I don't have enough money right now for plywood, but in the future, it'll be like, hey, it'll just be like, whatever you need. What do you need? I don't know. It's insane. But yeah, check out LifeWave. Good health, eat good foods, stay away from. We're buying. We started, or me and James started eating pasta from Italy. We're buying Italian pasta because they don't spray their foods with disgusting chemicals. But imagine living in a place where you like our squash. This is the first time I'm really eating squash in years, because the squash in the grocery stores, they spray that stuff, even where it says organic. It's sprayed with chemicals. I'm just like, I can't eat that. So here we grew it ourselves. We didn't even wash the vegetables down with the water. We don't need to. Well, what was it James said to me? We got to wash this before we start canning. I was like, what? He wanted to wash the cutting board. I thought he's going to wash the what?
You can't rinse stuff with water because water doesn't take anything off.
Okay, so Daniela says water doesn't take anything off anyway. So, but anyway, live clean, live for tomorrow, live with zest, live with imagination, live with gusto. Abe and all the others, you really look great. Thanks, JD, for your compliments. Trillions in the closet, right? They're insane, but we got this, and we're coming into the Great Awakening. There's nothing that can stop this. There's nothing that can stop you from just saying like, bye-bye, see you later, I'm going to buy, whatever, wherever it is that you need to be. The great one tells you where it is to be. The other thing is like, don't worry so much. I know that's easy to say, but like for me, like with the rafters up there, I'll show you a picture. It's coming out pretty weird, but it was like, I feel like, not that I'm on the level of Moses, but like that, God told Moses how to build the tabernacle. There are energies around me that say, okay, put a rafter here at this angle, make sure it's square to this, make sure, and it's like, okay, and then the next one, then they're like, okay, now we're going to change to a different thing. And I'm following along. I told James, I'm like, I don't worry about, what am I supposed to do next? Because I feel like the instructions just come if you're open and you're not worried about, what people think of you or whatever it is that your ego wants to keep you off balance with. If you can get beyond that and just into the thought stream, the answers are right there. They're always there. You don't have to live in uncertainty. That's the deep state wants you. That's the criminals. They want you to be uncertain so they can just take everything you have, make you sick, kill your families, and go on, and steal the children and all this other good stuff. So use the force. Use the force. It's as simple as fishing. Don't you know you're a magician? You're a magician. You're magical. You have incredible powers. So use the force. Know that you are the force. You are literally the force. You are source itself. You don't need to, nobody needs to tell you you have to do this, or you have to meditate that way or this way or anything like that. Just be yourself. If you need to talk to the divine as if it's outside of you, then do it. You're just talking to yourself, man. I've been talking to myself shamelessly for years. I don't mind talking to myself in public. I'm having a very nice conversation. It's like, at least I'm talking to somebody who really cares about me. Anyway, so have a great night, and we will see you this week. It's going to be an exciting week. And let's get out there with a big smile on our face and